Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is Tucanxan here, and we are working on day 21 of 30 of my 30-day art challenge. If you have been following me this long, thank you so much for joining me again today. If you are new to my channel, please feel free to like this video, leave a comment, click subscribe, all that fun stuff. This past week we've been working on ink washes, and it's been a pretty slow week. If I'm honest, it's because well, yeah, let's talk about it. So I have anxiety. I have general anxiety, and I also have panic disorder. So I have been struggling with panic attacks, and you know, it is what it is. It's been getting better, thankfully, with going to see a psychologist once a week and going to see a psychiatrist about once a month or so. So I wasn't super happy with the meds I was taking. I was taking Remeron, and I just didn't feel like it was doing much for my general daily stress level, because I get super stressed out by like the littlest things that I feel like don't usually affect people. And I think that has a lot to do with just how I grew up, and you know, a lot of the things that I went through growing up. And obviously, you know, you have to deal with it at some point. It's like, oh, that's my favorite part, when the hairdryer's going and everything just dries, and it's so magical to me. So yeah, I have legitimately anxiety, and a lot of people use marijuana to treat anxiety, and I was kind of curious about it, so I decided that I was going to try and get my green card, and it was super easy to do. I'm sure for people who maybe don't actually have an issue, it's still easy to do if you're in California. And I know that it's kind of taboo in certain areas, but to me personally, like, if there's a type of medication out there that has proven to be beneficial for multiple people, like me, or, you know, people who have seizures or are dealing with cancer, use it. I think it's a beautiful thing. You know, it has very few side effects other than the munchies and stuff like that, and a lot of people who have had cancer and stuff like that have noticed a significant improvement. So I'm all for like experimenting and trying what works best for you. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I got my weed card, and as we know, like, if you're part of the weed culture, it was 4/20 just recently, and I specifically bought some weed by prescription, of course, and I bought what has like a high cannabinoid count. So supposedly if it has a high cannabinoid count and a low THC count, you won't experience the psychoactive effects of marijuana. However, what I didn't know when I bought it was that it had pretty much equal parts THC and cannabinoids. So instead of just feeling super relaxed, I got ridiculously high. So, and it happened like, okay, so Wednesday I was just trying the product that I got, and I knew that that product had THC, so I was expecting a certain amount of not being able to do anything, but the other day I was not expecting to get high at all. In fact, I was really stressed out, so I was kind of expecting it to relax me and to help me focus, and I realized the hard way that I totally bought the wrong thing. So that's a super long I digress, and I'm sure if you're my friends or family, you're probably very shocked by that statement. But yeah, I personally am not against weed if it's beneficial for you, and I personally don't know that I'm going to use it that much. You know, I think the science is getting better about it, but I don't think that there's that much control really for certain aspects of weedness. I don't know how to say it, but you know, I do think that there's a culture out here that's more accepting of the use of marijuana. Like, everyone and their mother does it, I guess, but I definitely have noticed that if I have used weed in the past, it helps me to not trip up over little things, which is a classic of weed, you know, but I don't want to rely on it. So that's enough about that. I got way too high twice in a row this week, and that's why I couldn't get my videos up. I was literally too high to do it. So if you hate me for that, I'm really sorry. I'm just trying to figure out what works best for me. So now this is the last day of the short story series that I've been working on. And I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about the story when we get to the end of the video. We started off with, again, the Talons ink. We're just using the same exact thing we've been using all week. The Talons ink and Grumbacher watercolor paints, the same colors, to kind of keep everything the same. And this is all a part of the same short story. And the way I wanted to do this series was like individual pieces of a comic panel. So I didn't exactly plan out the comic panel, but I knew the general direction that I wanted to go, and I'm actually super happy with the way this came out. I spent like all night working on it until like 1 in the morning, doing the line art and the under sketch, and I started in with a few light washes on the background to create this kind of spotlight effect on both characters. So that is our main character, and yes, she is dancing with the devil. So let's talk a little bit about the inspiration behind this piece. This piece was motivated for a number of reasons. I started watching the show Love on Netflix. Will I ever speak correctly? Netflix by Judd Apatow, and I got super hooked on it. I think it's a beautiful story. It's kind of graphic, so if you're a younger audience, do not watch it. It's pretty graphic, but I think it's a pretty accurate depiction of the way love operates in today's modern view of love. It's been really, really interesting to watch. And the main character, she's like this fiery, strawberry blonde redhead girl, and she doesn't care. She's brutally honest. She's like tough as nails, but she's very clearly a train wreck, and she's just like, she can't get it together. She's constantly messing up her sobriety, and she's a love addict, she's a sex addict, she's a regular addict, she's an alcoholic, and she knows all these things, and she's trying to get better, but she just kind of keeps stumbling. So that's kind of what I based the main character around, was like this very aloof, badass kind of, I don't give a fuck, fuck kind of woman. And she's very mysterious, so it's obvious that people around her would talk about her because she's so mysterious, and because she is a train wreck, and she has this, so basically the devil is a metaphor for her addictions, right? Even though it is actually the devil. And so she says, I don't dance with the devil dances with me. And then that kind of went into another thing. Well, what if the devil was finally capable of love? That's not something you traditionally expect from the devil. And I mean, obviously, he's still the devil, so he's not going to be totally innocent and pure, and he's not even going to be good at the idea of love. But I just thought it would be kind of interesting if we had a devil character who only insisted on dancing with this woman and nothing else. You know, like, that's kind of a very selfless thing. And as long as she consents to the dance, like, they both kind of get what they want and need, and she flirts with fire, and he gets to experience something that's not common or even in traditional views possible for him. So that's kind of what inspired this whole thing, and I just thought that those two ideas were really interesting to put together. So in a literal sense, it is the devil, but the devil is finding himself drawn to this woman, and he doesn't want anything from her. He just wants to be around her, and that's really it. Her presence is enough. But at the same time, for her, she dances with the devil, and that still is taboo, and she very clearly still struggles with saying no to that. But, you know, it's interesting as well because she is a very independent woman, so when she's defending herself in front of these people who are talking about her, she's basically saying, I don't dance with the devil dances with me, and I say yes. And all he ever wants is a dance, and I always say yes. And it's also, I guess it works on the level of, like, don't judge someone before you know them, because everyone has good and bad sides to them, right? Like, nobody is perfect on this planet. Nobody. Everyone has done something good, and everyone has done something really bad. So that was the motivation and the inspiration behind this piece. If you haven't seen Love, I recommend it only if you're like my age, if you're over 18, obviously. And if you have seen it and you like it, please tell me what's your favorite part about the show. Tell me I don't know, your favorite moment, your favorite character, all that fun stuff. I love talking about my favorite shows. Also, I'm a huge Parks and Recs fan, so if you want to talk about that, I would totally love to. So that's kind of just what we've been working on, and this is the last day of the story, and it shows them dancing together, and they're happy, but the devil still kind of has a bit of a smug look on his face, right? Because he is not capable of being 100% good, and this woman, she isn't either, so they're very similar characters, but she's human, and he is very clearly not. So we're coming into words. I gotta say, by the way, I think I've really gotten a fairly decent handle on the washes at this point. If you look at the darkness in the background, I'm super happy with how it came out. That is the Talon's ink. It is that pigmented. And I generally find that the Talon's ink, it doesn't really dry that much lighter than you put it down. I feel like with some inks like Higgins or Rapidograph, it really does dry lighter, but with this one, pretty much what you put down is what you're gonna get. And I mean, you can see I did mess up a little bit on the dress. Again, it's because I'm not super comfortable with how lighting works. This is still me guessing, and I think you saw earlier I pulled up my phone and I tried to get what reference I could to understand the way the lighting would work, but I think I'm still just super timid with it. And another thing that I noticed, if you can see right now what we're doing, I am lining with my Pigma Micron pen, or Micron Pigma, however you prefer to say it. And that's because I find that no matter what I do, or no matter what paper I work on, or no matter how light my hand is, when I go to erase the pencils underneath, a lot of the Micron pigment comes up. So I don't really like having to go back in and reline everything, but I find that it even does it with the Copic multiliners. So now we're working on the lettering here, which every time I was like, I'm gonna go for it and it's gonna be fine, and not necessarily the case. I think next time I really should spend more time on that and plan it. I'm actually gonna take a moment here to tell you the rest of the story right now. I don't dance with the devil, she had said. The devil dances with me. And he's a perfect gentleman. Alright, so that's it. That's the end of the story, and we're coming to the end of the video here, so thank you so much again for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know you probably learned something about me that you didn't know before. I'm always open to questions, so if you have any questions about it, please go ahead and ask me. This was a really fun series to work on, so guy and girl meet. He just happens to be the devil. Nothing really happens. It's pretty platonic, except for they dance together, and it's obviously like Dancing with Fire, right? And yeah, that's it. So this was the final piece here, and my cute little card with my fleur-de-lis with the messed up spacing. That was a bummer, but whatever. I like the way it turned out. It's got character and charm. So thank you so much for being here. Please click subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow.